Nick, you know what that sound means?
What's that mean?
Football's back, baby. This is Third and a Mile, the Sports Dorks weekly preview of all things football. And this is our first week doing this. We're going to be coming at you every Wednesday night. You know, bonus podcast for all the faithful listeners. And if you don't care about our jokes, MMA, and minute details for football, then I guess tune in here and we'll break down all the games against the spread, outright, and point totals. And we'll probably dabble with some fantasy if Nick wants to.
No, of course I want to dabble in some fantasy. I'm about to win the league this year.
You think so?
I know so.
Why?
Just, Russell Wilson, David Johnson, Leonard Fournette.
David Johnson's money. I'm struggling already. Le'Veon Bell in one league, who knows when he'll play. Jerick McKinnon in our league, who tore his ACL. So I have Duke Johnson in 3 leagues now, which I like Duke Johnson. You like Duke Johnson, but not ideal.
Yeah, not the perfect running back for fantasy.
No, but he goes. I don't mind him with Zeke in our league. I got Zeke Elliott and Duke Johnson. I can work with that.
Yeah, Zeke's gonna have to carry your team a little bit, just like he does the Cowboys. But
yeah, that's not wrong. But let's get into the real reason why we got here first. Today is Wednesday, September 5th. That's a big deal because tomorrow is our first football game. Thursday, September 6th.
Can't wait. Waiting too long for this.
8:20 p.m. Eastern time is what I have written down, and I hope that's accurate. I'm kidding, Nick. It's accurate. Don't get so stressed over there. We've got the Atlanta Falcons traveling to take on the Super Bowl defending champions, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Dirty Birds are doing it.
The against the spread, you can find this line depending on the site, usually between the Falcons giving up 1 and even getting 2, which is a little bit odd. You don't really see that move a whole lot. But we've got that spread coming out here. The point total sitting at 45 right now. And the money line for this game by Westgate Superbook, they're both favorited. The Falcons are minus 105 and the Eagles are sitting at minus 115. Nick, what's your first thought coming into this?
Well, with the books and everything, with them both being favored, it kind of makes sense. You know, the Eagles did win the Super Bowl last year. Nick Foles did win the Super Bowl for them. He's looked terrible in preseason, but you don't really know what you're getting from the Eagles. And the Falcons ended last year on a very hot streak, and they look very good going into this season. I like the Falcons, but it makes sense why this game's so weird from a betting perspective with 2 favorites, and everything's so close.
See, I was lucky enough to grab the Falcons at plus 170 when the line first opened. It opened at 180, but I grabbed it shortly thereafter. And I mean, I've been hammering this all off season in articles on our other podcast, Bumpin Shoulders. I've been all over this one. I think the Falcons coming in and win this. Against the spread, whether they're getting points or giving up the -1 that we're seeing in some places, obviously I like the Falcons here because getting points I'm a big fan of there, because even if they lose this game, I can't imagine it's by a lot.
Yeah, I like them in that scenario too. I mean, I think they're going to – you and I disagree with this. I think they're going to blow out the Eagles. I think this is going to be a game that gets out of hand fairly quick. I could see the Falcons scoring, the Eagles trying to come back, getting a turnover. The Falcons get a turnover and just kills that Eagles defense mentally, and they just take over from there.
So do you think this surpasses the point total of 45?
45 is kind of – I like that for this. Like, it's a maybe under, just a tiny bit, though.
I have the Falcons winning this 24-15, as you can see in front of you. So I like the under on the point total. But, Nick, you know what I'd say about both of us taking the Falcons over the Eagles?
What would you say?
That's a best bet.
If anybody's just listening, he's pointing at the camera and letting everybody know it's a best bet.
Let's move into the game that's causing all sorts of distress for fantasy owners around the world. Sunday, September 9th, 1 p.m., the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Believeland. How do you like that?
I like that.
They're veering away from Believeland. I know you watch Hard Knocks, and they're going by what? Hardland?
Yeah. What's weird about this is this game's confusing just because we don't know I feel like everybody's jumping on the Browns too much because they're on Hard Knocks. They made big moves in the offseason. They went 0-16 last year. It seems like a lot of people are jumping on them. The Steelers don't have Lev Bell, and their defense doesn't look as solid as it's always been. But did the Browns really improve enough this offseason to even give the Steelers a run for their money? And that's kind of what everybody's waiting for in this game. I think sitting down and talking about this, I've been going with the Browns. I think I have to go with the Steelers when I think about this, though. I just feel like they're always a solid team. They're never a bad team.
I think the Browns keep this game close as they have in the previous years. They always play the Steelers tough, especially in Cleveland. But I agree. I think the Steelers pull this one off. The spread at this is sitting at +4 or -4, depending on which way you go. The Browns are getting 4 points. Steelers are laying the 4.
So
how does that affect your opinion there?
I like the Browns with the +4. Another thing to remember, though, is Josh Gordon's most likely not playing this game. He's questionable right now. Hugh Jackson said he doesn't want him to take any snaps this game. That's a huge weapon for the Browns that's not playing. I still like them at +4, even not winning. I think it's going to be a somewhat close game. The Steelers, I think, are going to come out to a rough start with no Lev Bell, but they still do have a lot of offensive weapons. Who's playing running back for them right now?
James Conner. I actually snagged him in my fantasy league with Lev Bell because I am out of options at this point.
Well, he has to get the ball. They can't throw it every play.
He'll be the guy
and
in
the Steelers
Pittsburgh
have
for now.
And the Steelers have a decent line, especially with Lev Bell. He could be out till week 6.
He could sit out to week 10.
Oh, is it? I thought the deal was up till week 6.
If he plays the last 6 games of the year, he will be eligible, and that will count as his year accrued on the team, and then he can hit free agency. If he sits out till week 10, I'm going to be in a tough spot from a fantasy perspective. But
so the Steelers will be in a rough spot with no Lev Bell for 10 games. That's definitely one of arguably the best player on that team.
Yeah,
and with him out, with him not playing, that's detrimental to that team. They don't really have a backup plan without him.
No, James Conner. The team's saying he looks good, and they think he is a hard player. They think he would have been a higher round pick if he didn't battle cancer through college. So they think he has the talent to kind of step up and fill that role. So I can't really take too much away from the Steelers because even if he can't, they still have Antonio Brown, Juju Schuster,
they still have the weapons.
Schuster, and James Washington now, who also looks like a stallion. Vance McDonald, Jesse James, they've got the team to still succeed offensively.
Now, for me, I don't know about you. Would it shock you if the Browns did steal this game? Because to me, it kind of would shock me. I think a close game, but if the Browns finally got in the win column, especially on a Sunday, I think I'd be shocked.
A division rival.
Yeah, the Steelers.
Yeah,
they beat the Steelers in week 1 of the season. That'd be wild to me.
I don't see it, but if the Browns win this game by 2 or 3, it would make sense. I wouldn't be totally caught off guard. That being said, the Steelers could come out and win by 35, and we would go, yeah, they're still the Browns.
We'd go, oh, okay. They did go 0-16 last year.
No one's going to be shocked either way. I would definitely be more shocked if the Browns won this game than if the Steelers blew them out.
Yeah, I think if the Browns win this game, you go, oh, damn, they may actually have a somewhat decent team. They may have a future.
And for my sake, if the Browns win, I hope it's less than 3 points. And we'll get into that later on. Moving forward, my San Francisco 49ers travel to Minnesota to take on the Kirk Cousin-led Vikings. How do you feel about that? Right now we've got, I didn't say the line for that Pittsburgh-Cleveland game, by the way. Pittsburgh's a heavy favorite at -210 with Cleveland sitting at 175 in the positive. So that's not a bad line.
No, it's not a bad line to grab the Browns.
It's not even terribly expensive. It's still an expensive line to take the Steelers at that.
But it's still not terrible.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. San Francisco is sitting at +225 coming into this game with Minnesota at -275. And right now the spread is at 6.5 either way, with the 49ers getting 6.5, and the point total is at 46.
With the 49ers getting 6.5, I like the 49ers in this. But then again, I guess I wouldn't be shocked if the Vikings... Kirk Cousins has a lot of weapons on that offense.
Oh, yeah.
And the 49ers do not have... God, who just got hurt?
Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, with no Jerick McKinnon, that puts a big question mark on their run game.
Then they have a very young and unproven defense beyond Richard Sherman and DeForest Buckner.
Yes, so this one, Minnesota could blow them out, but the 49ers, I do like their defense this year. It's very unproven, but I think they're going to have a probably top 10 defense this year at the end of this year. And I think they could keep this close, but the Vikings, they could be in the Super Bowl this year. They're set to win right now.
That team's loaded. They've got probably the most depth defensively anywhere where they can really sustain an injury at almost any position and be okay. I'm all for Jimmy G, you know that, but I don't even think I'll take the 49ers getting 6.5 in this. I predicted this game being 30-20 in favor of Minnesota. 6.5 I wouldn't be against taking, but it's Minnesota at home. Kirk Cousins' first game there. I feel like he's either going to thrive in that with the environment being all about him, or he could break under that pressure.
One thing, too, that we've talked about is with Jimmy G, we know he can win. We just don't know if he can win right now. We don't know if he's the answer to all the 49ers problems, especially against a team like the Minnesota Vikings. What was their record last year?
I want to say 11-5, maybe 12-4.
Yeah, and they were one of the top-ranked teams in the NFC. Probably going to be one of the top-ranked teams again in the NFC this year.
I mean, they're arguably the best overall defense.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're looking for between them and the Jags.
And I think this is just the team. They look great, and we'll really see. If Jimmy G comes out and leads these guys to a victory, then, I mean, we may be looking at the next great. Even then, he could struggle this season. You've said it. If they go 4-12, people are going to go, it's not really Jimmy G's fault. Like, they're still building around him.
Yeah.
So this is a big statement game, I think, for the 49ers. Jimmy G can keep that undefeated streak going. I'll be so shocked in this game, though.
I'm all for it. I hope he's able to pull this off. It would be a crazy upset. I'm personally, again, not betting on anything to do with it because the Vikings should win this game. They are the better team on both sides of the ball. They have, I like Mike Zimmer as a coach. I think that loss of Pat Shurmur could come back and cause some problems later in the season, but we'll have to see how John DeFilippo steps in as offensive coordinator there, coming up from the Eagles' quarterback coaching job. But this team should still be solid all the way around. I like the over on the 46-point total.
See, I don't know. I think
at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if this game turned into like a 17-10
exactly
like little grind out thing.
Just because, or I wouldn't be shocked if this is like a 30-7 game either, just because that Vikings defense is so good.
Yeah.
The 49ers are missing a big weapon on offense in Jerick McKinnon. So you know they're going to come out throwing. And
I don't know. They like Matt Breida and Alfred Morris a lot, though. They're not. I don't think they don't seem as concerned as everyone else is.
But I don't know, man. That's still your number one back. You never want to see that go down.
No, absolutely not. It was devastating, and I only cried a little bit. But they have backup plans to that. And I guess we'll use this to transition into your favorite team. The Cincinnati Bengals travel to Lucas Oil Stadium.
What's the spread on this? I mean, not that it matters. Colts won by 50.
The spread is 3 points either way, with the Colts giving up 3. And the money line is Cincinnati underdog at plus 130. Indianapolis favored at minus 150.
Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, Indianapolis, their defense is terrible. It's definitely going to be bottom of the NFL, as is tradition. But that offense, I think Andrew Luck is going to be able to lead them to a lot of victories that you go, if they didn't have Andrew Luck, there's no way they're winning this game. He's going to throw a lot of touchdowns this season, and he's just going to lead. He's going to be the leader of this team like he was before.
I'm in agreement with that. I think he'll have a decent year. I like him to actually have a real big year yardage-wise, but this Bengals team usually loses games they shouldn't lose due to injury, but coming into week 1, they're going to be healthy. You'll have Tyler Eifert on the field. John Ross has looked like an animal in preseason. A.J. Green looks good. Joe Mixon's ready for a breakout year. I think they could really take the top off of this rocky Colts defense, and I predicted this 35-20. I know you don't like that, but I think Cincinnati comes out and wins decisively.
I think it could be actually 35-20 the other way, though.
I don't know.
I think the Colts, they do have, Jabal Sheard is still on their team.
That's one guy. There's 10
he's still going to get to he's still going to get to the quarterback. Their defense is terrible, but I don't think their corners are going to get burnt as bad as everybody thinks they're going to. Their defense is bad, but I think Jabal Sheard's going to get enough pressure to where, Andy Dalton's going to have to force a few passes, and that could be huge for the Colts.
Yeah, but again, they've really stacked up on that offensive line throughout this offseason. They've added 3 new pieces there because the offensive line was such a weak spot last year. That's been their main focus. I don't know. I like the Bengals a lot coming into this. I think they have all the pieces they need, and if these guys stay healthy, I think they have the pieces they need to almost take a run at the AFC North,
but not win the playoffs.
Not winning the playoffs.
They will not win the playoffs.
But At the same time, Tyler Eifert's bound to be hurt in a handful of weeks.
Well, one thing, too, that is people don't talk about with the Colts D, they're bad. They're fast, though.
Yeah.
They are fast. All that team is young, and they're fast.
Not John Ross fast, though.
We'll see.
Moving forward, the Buffalo Bills travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, and I think this game is going to be terrible.
Oh, yeah, this is not going to be a good... This is going to be one of those games, and it's going to be on local television.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, oh, I wish anything else was on.
I have the Ravens winning this game 21-10, but I don't think it's going to look that close.
This is going to be like a 21-3 game. And 1 minute left, somehow a quarterback, Nathan Peterman may be benched. We'll get that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, the spread in this game is 8 either way. I don't like that. I think the Ravens will win by more than 8, but I don't like taking spreads of that big. That's a lot of points to lay either way, especially when the Bills do have a good enough defense.
Yeah, but that Ravens offense, they look good. And Joe Flacco looks so good. It's preseason, I understand that. But Joe Flacco, I mean, I think you and I both think he's poised for a breakout year. This could be the start of that breakout year.
And coming off of his back injury, he's finally healthy. That receiving core, it's crafty. I love the Crabtree, John Brown, and Willie Snead trio. They've also got that new tight end, Hayden Hurst. They've got Alex Collins back there and Kenneth Dixon in the running game. It's a solid team. And defensively, they will have a little bit of a weak spot with Jimmy Smith out those first 4 games. But when he comes back, it's going to be they're going to be back as that top 10 caliber defense.
But I think this is a game, their defense doesn't have to be great to stop the Bills.
No, the
Shady
Bills'
will
offense
be playing,
should be
though.
horrible. Shady will be playing, yeah, but the offensive line's a
Oh,
joke.
yeah. Their offensive line just got worse, and they were struggling last year.
LaShawn McCoy should be able to move the ball, just I don't think the same way we're used to.
Yeah. You're going to see him get juking out a lot of guys in the backfield, but never making it back to that line.
Yeah, and not because of him, just because the line lets anyone through. Jacksonville Jaguars travel to New York to take on the Jersey Giants.
I love this game. This could be game of the week, I think.
I had the same thought, and like I wrote in the breakdown that'll be out later, I wrote exactly, I went back and forth on this game for a long time, but decided to stop trying to get cute with it. Good teams typically stay good, and bad teams rarely come into the season great. And that's kind of how I feel about that. I understand the Giants took a lot of losses, and they had a lot of injured players last season, but the Jags were a great team, and I feel like the floor for them is a good team. The Giants were absolutely atrocious, and I feel like the ceiling for them is a good team.
Yeah, one thing that's definitely going to be fun to watch in this is OBJ and Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
But again, that's a wide receiver and that's a wide receiver in a corner. It's not going to be fun to watch. It's going to be one of those things after the game. It's going to be like, oh, cool. There's a snippet of everything that happened in the fight, all the trash talk in the game, all the trash talking. I think Jalen Ramsey kind of contains OBJ, but I like the Giants offensively, and I think Saquon's going to be a future great, and I think somehow he's going to figure out a way to pick up positive yards against his Jags D.
Before we keep going that, I forgot to ask, what is your take on that 8-point spread with Baltimore and Buffalo?
I like Baltimore at the 8-point spread.
You think they covered the 8?
Yeah.
And the point total is set at 40.5, I think.
For the Bills-Ravens game?
Yep, I think they fall short.
Yeah, no way. I don't think it.
I think it's going to be a very defensive
I
game.
think the Bills' offense is too bad.
And the Bills have a good defense again. Back to this Jags game. Right now, the Jags are giving up 3 points to the Giants, and the point total is set at 43.5. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game because the Jags aren't this offensive juggernaut. And again, I love Pat Shurmur, but this is a real hard game to start off against.
Yeah, and 43.5 points. I think I talked to you about this before. Any Jags game, you're probably going to want to take the under on that spread. They don't score a lot, but they don't allow a lot of points either.
No, let's not forget they won that Bills game, 10-3 in the playoffs?
Yeah, and the Steelers game, let's also remember that the Steelers didn't start scoring until almost garbage time.
Yeah, they were up real heavy.
It was,
28-3
at one point?
Defense, somewhere in that ballpark.
So, it's just this Jags defense, and it's only gotten better. So,
and I think we're going to see big things out of Unique Ngakoue coming off the other side, which is, what is it, Trey Flowers or Eric Flowers? I always mix them up.
I think it's Trey.
Very unprofessional on my end, but that's a weak spot on the right side tackle, and I think that's where he's going to be rushing because Calais Campbell and company are on the other side with Malik Jackson.
This Jags D is just it's by far my favorite defense. I mean, we all know that.
They're exciting to watch.
Yeah, they're so much fun. they're almost as exciting as watching an offense play. It's just so much fun. You watch crazy plays, crazy sacks, crazy turnovers.
I think the Jags win. Jags cover the 3-point spread, and the point total will be short of 43.5, I think.
If the Giants don't score 10, I wouldn't be shocked. But again, if the Jags score more than 20, I kind of would be shocked. They're not a high scoring team unless Blake Bortles is coming out as playoff Blake.
So do you consider the 3-point spread to be a?
I like the Jags still with the 3-point spread.
You know what that means?
What's that?
It's the best bet. We've got Tampa Bay traveling to New Orleans. This game, I think, will be a blowout. Right now, the spread's set at 10 either way, which is a massive spread, and the point total is at 49.5.
I hate that
I keep fucking this up because it's our first time. Speaking of that Jags-Giants game, Jags are 165 favorites, and the Giants are plus 142. Moving to Tampa, New Orleans, Tampa comes in at plus 375, with the Saints sitting at minus 500 favorites.
So do you have zero trust for Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Against that defense, I have no trust.
The Saints are going to destroy them. The Saints and Falcons are probably going to be the top 2 scoring offenses of this year. And Bucs really don't have that great of a defense.
They've got an awesome front seven, but their secondary is not intimidating anybody.
But the problem with that is Drew Brees would love if they brought a ton of pressure.
Well, especially coming into this game without Mark Ingram.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to pass first.
So he's going to want that pressure to come, and he's going to dump it to a wide open running back, receiver, tight end. He's going to get it done. And your actual score of this, I could very well see, and I'd like that.
Yeah, I have this game predicted at 35-14 in favor of New Orleans. A little fantasy sidebar with this game. If you're looking for a sleeper running back in a deep league, Boston Scott and Mike Gillislee are going to see a lot of action in this game with Mark Ingram suspended. So look for those guys to be mixed in there with Alvin Kamara. Obviously not an ideal situation. They won't get the touches, but some leagues you're grasping at straws if you're anyone like me.
They could be the guys that, though, get in the end zone on that goal line.
Yeah, we'll have to see who gets assigned those carries. Week one's hard to tell because they did sign Mike Gillislee, right, I think last week. So it's hard to see if it's going to be him or Boston Scott. But those two guys are looking like the guys for these 4 weeks.
From a fantasy standpoint, though, you could see these guys picking up like a 2-yard rushing touchdown and maybe 20 yards. You know, that's 8 points right there.
Yeah, because Alvin Kamara won't take every carry.
Yeah.
And he won't play every snap, so they're going to be mixed in there. The Bucs getting 10, it's hard to take against that spread, but I don't think I can bet on the Bucs to keep this game close.
Without Jameis, I just don't see it. They don't have a starting quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's not going to probably throw a lot of picks, but he's not new to this offense, but he's starting week 1 with this offense. And the Saints are too good. They're a great team.
And even though we agree on the Saints winning this, even with the minus 10, I won't call this one a best bet because I personally would not suggest betting on this in that sense. That's a big risk because the Saints could win by 9 points, which is a substantial win. But they still want to beat 10. Like 10's a lot of points to give up. And I'm not even going to touch the point total here at 49.5 because I could see it going well over or even well under.
I think this goes over on 49.5. I think that Saints the Bucs are going to get some points in garbage time, I think, but the Saints are just going to blow them out the whole game. It's not going to be close.
Houston Texans at New England Patriots. I have this game at 24-21 in favor of New England. And right now we have Houston coming in at a plus 225 underdog with New England coming in at minus 275 favorite. The over-under for this, or not over-under, the spread is at 6.5 either way. The point total's 51. I know the Patriots and Houston scored over 60 last time they played. I don't like that point total of 51. I would bet under on that. I think the Houston defense is a lot better now that everyone's healthy for this week at least. And the Texans have a bad offensive line. I think the Patriots can slow down the Texans in that sense.
For me, put this in as my upset of the week.
You think the Texans win this?
I think the Texans win. I think your score 24-21, other way around though. I think this is a close game. I think the Patriots start 2 seasons in a row 0-1. That Texans defense is healthy. Patriots aren't too great. They're missing Julian Edelman. They always seem to get it done. Like Bill Belichick is the head coach, and he will have a game plan. I like the Texans when they're all healthy. That's a healthy team, they could easily go 10-6, 11-5. And
yeah, if they stay
right now
healthy
they're
the
healthy.
duration of the season.
Yeah, right now they're healthy, and I think this is a win for them. And it's a huge win, mentally for them if they can take down anytime you beat the Patriots. It's a huge win for you.
My only concern with this game is trusting Bill O'Brien to out-scheme Bill Belichick. I'm not sure if I can get on board with that because if the Patriots do slow down this pass rush, they're in a comfortable spot to win the game. I can see it going either way. This is a game where if the Texans come out and just pop off, it's going to be a lot for the Patriots to deal with.
I think if Deshaun Watson looks like the Deshaun Watson of last year, this is a hard game for the Patriots. The problem is he did mess up his knee, and that's a hard injury for a Russian quarterback to come back from.
And injury aside, his stats they're not anything you can carry on. Like, that was an outlier.
Yeah.
No one can keep that consistently through the duration of the season. This one was a rough game for me to figure out. Tennessee Titans at Miami Dolphins. I have this game with the Titans winning 15-14. Right now the spread is at plus or minus 2 points. The Titans would be giving to the Dolphins, and the Titans are coming in at minus 125 favorite with the Dolphins at plus 105 as home dogs. Point total is 45 points. I liked the under on that. This was hard for me. I think the Dolphins are coming in. They have Tannehill back. They've got a lot to prove. Gase has a lot to prove personally, and Derek Morgan's not playing for the Titans, so this gives Tannehill a chance to not be getting rushed by the opposing pass rush so consistently.
I think for this game, like you said, Gase has a lot to prove. He has his quarterback back in Tannehill, and Kenyon Drake is poised for a breakout year. That Tennessee Titans defense is great, but I think this is a super close game. Could come down to like a game-winning field goal. I think Miami squeaks this one out at home, even though they're terrible at home. I think they somehow find a way to get it done against the Titans.
Yeah, this is one of those games where, while I'm all for the Titans, I wouldn't be shocked if they lost this and everyone buried the Titans early. I don't think if the Titans lose this means anything bad for them. This is just a very weird matchup early in the season.
Even you said the Titans aren't going to be a team that goes 14-2 and just walks right to the. They're going to struggle, especially offensively at first.
Yeah,
that defense is great. That defense is really good, but that offense is not. I think they're a very efficient offense, but they're not a high-scoring offense.
Yeah, I agree. I think they will be much more clean and efficient than they were last year because Mike Mularkey should not be calling plays. I like the Titans. I'm not going to bet on this one. I have it involved in a 16 parlay. I'll bring that up at the end of this podcast as a fun little bet. But I'm not going to bet on this game individually at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on this just because, like I said, that Titans team, that's going to be an offense that probably takes 8 minutes off the clock to score, but then good luck scoring against their defense. But the problem is if you get a turnover from that offense, score quick, that could put them in a big pickle.
Moving into the 4 o'clock games, the Kansas City Chiefs travel to Los Angeles to take on the Lightning Bolts.
Don't call them that.
To take on the Chargers. I have the Chargers winning this game 20-21. Right now, the spread is 3.5 going to the Chiefs, and the Chargers are coming into this game at minus 185 favorites. Kansas City's plus 155 underdogs, and the point total is sitting at 48. What's your first take on that, Nick?
I mean, you can go back to the Bumpin Shoulders podcast. I don't like Patty Mahomes. I don't think he's going to be very accurate. He has great receivers in Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill, and he has Travis Kelce, who please Travis Kelce get a ton of points for my fantasy team. But
he's got Kareem Hunt too.
That Chargers team is so good, and I think they're going to score a lot of points against this banged up Chiefs defense.
Even banged up aside, it's a bad Chiefs defense.
These Chiefs defense could be 32nd. They could be the worst defense in the NFL.
The Chargers have a lot of edge rush coming out of here, and I think that can make Mahomes uncomfortable, and he's very inexperienced, so an uncomfortable quarterback, especially an uncomfortable gunslinging quarterback, could be throwing a lot of ill-advised balls, and against this Chargers secondary that could prove devastating for the Chiefs. I don't trust that Chiefs defense at all, and I mean I think the Chargers have a good enough offense, and I think they have a top 5 defense this year.
Yeah, I would. If the Chargers beat them by like 14, even 21, I wouldn't be shocked.
But at the same time, if the Chiefs come out and put up 45 points, no one's going to be shocked because this offense is loaded.
Yeah, if somehow Pat Mahomes really is as good as people hyped him up at the beginning of this offseason, then, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he put up 45 points. But I just feel like he's going to struggle, the type of quarterback he is.
So I like the Chargers winning this game and the Chargers covering the spread at -3.5.
The same boat as you.
Would you call that a best bet or no?
I guess you can throw up you can finger gun it.
We'll lock that in. That's a best bet. 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time, we have the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Denver. Oh, what a shit game. 15-10 Denver is how I predicted this game.
Yeah. This is not going to be a game. This is like that Bills game. It's probably going to be so boring.
I'm not looking forward to this game on a lot of factors. I am going to look forward to it when the Seahawks offense is on the field because I like this Broncos defense, and I think Russell Wilson's exciting.
Don't lie.
That could be a fun little...
You're excited for one player to play on that side of the ball.
Russell Wilson.
No. You're running back.
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to start Penny, though. But we'll have to see. I think that's going to be an exciting game.
Yeah, I think...
In a weird way, because that Denver defense is very talented. It's stacked. They've got a good secondary. They have what could be one of the top pass rushes in the league. And Russell Wilson seems to make things happen. On the other side of the ball, you've got Case Keenum leading a bunch of old wide receivers against a battered and bruised Seahawks defense that actually just got Earl Thomas back today also.
It's going to be so one side of the ball, the game's going to be worth watching. As soon as the Broncos get the ball and they're on offense, just switch channel, watch something else.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird game. I don't think it's going to be one that everyone loves, but I am looking forward to it. I think it could be fun. It's just a game that I don't know how much importance it's going to play in the long run.
Also, with Seattle's defense, like the one thing Seattle's offense, the one thing that scares me is I really don't want to watch Seattle on offense just because I don't know if I want to watch Russell Wilson get hit as much as he's going to get hit this season. I like the guy and he's a great quarterback, but it's just that offensive line.
They do him dirty. They do him dirty all the time.
It's almost like they're trying to just see what they can get without. It's almost like they want him to get hurt the way they're playing. But the Broncos, Bradley Chubb is probably the most excited I am to watch any of these rookies play. I wanted the Colts to grab him so bad. That Denver defense, their defense is gonna be way more exciting than their offense.
And moving into the betting side of this, the Seahawks come in at +130 underdogs, Denver -150 favorites, and the spread is with the Seahawks getting 3. And the point total is at 43. I think this falls well under the point total. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I don't love Denver covering the spread because this could very well be a field goal or less game.
This could be a 12-9 game.
Yeah, but I think the Broncos do, and I think they have that little bit of an edge defensively. And I think they have probably a more complete offense. Royce Freeman should do some damage. They do have stability at receivers, despite them being old. They're the same guys that have been there. Moving forward, Dallas Cowboys travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers. I have this game at 10-7 Dallas. The spread is 3 in the Cowboys' favor. The Cowboys would be getting 3, Panthers giving up 3. And the point total is at 42.5. And right now, Dallas is a +130 underdog with Carolina at -150 favorite. I think this game is going to be very much decided in the trenches. There's a lot of injury on both sides, or on both teams' offensive fronts. And these are two teams that will probably score most of their points running the ball this year, I'd have to guess. And I'm worried about their success behind those offensive lines. And again, both teams, I mean, Nick, the Panthers they always have a solid defense.
Yeah, the one thing for this game, I think the difference maker in this game is Cam Newton. He's far better than Dak Prescott, and I think the Panthers win this game. I think Cam Newton's going to have just one of those good games where he's bootlegging it to the out, picking up that first down when he needs to. And I think Cam's going to get this one done for them.
See, I think Zeke could have a bigger day than Christian McCaffrey, and I think that's going to be ultimately what does this. Even the Dallas defense is is kind of exciting. They have a lot of good pass rushers in Taco Charlton and DeMarcus Lawrence. And then they have a very young, talented secondary that is exciting to figure out how they're going to play. I could see this is another one of those games that could ultimately go either way, and I wouldn't be shocked. But I have to trust Zeke just because, he's one of my favorite running backs in the league. I love watching him play, and I think he's always able to make it work. I like them getting the 3 points.
By far under on that 42.5 though.
And I don't think it touches the 42.5.
Yeah, you have to hammer that under. There's no way.
The Washington Redskins travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Weird game. Really weird game.
Yeah, but all Redskin games are weird when you look at them. I think the Cardinals with David Johnson, they beat them. David Johnson's too good. And David Johnson, please have an amazing game. You're my number one pick.
The Redskins come in at plus 100 underdogs, and Arizona sitting at minus 120 favorite. I like the Cardinals in this game also. I picked them to win 21-15. Right now, the Cardinals are giving up 1 point, which ultimately, unless they tie a 1 point game, either way doesn't matter. And I like the under on the point total of 44. These are two teams. The Redskins have a solid, one of the best front sevens in football.
I think if the Redskins had Darius Geis, I'd probably lean the other way. But David Johnson and a healthy Sam Bradford, Sam Bradford's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
he's not a bad
healthy,
quarterback.
Yeah, he plays really good football.
And he's healthy right now, so I think, he's going to get this done for them. David Johnson will open up the receivers for Sam Bradford, and that's where you'll see him beat him.
Yep. And let's move forward into the night games, just to keep things rolling. Chicago Bears take on the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. For the fun of this, I took Chicago winning this game 21-20.
Of course you did, because
right
you love Mitchie T.
Right now, the Bears are plus 280 underdogs, and the Packers are minus 360. The Bears had a top 10 defense in almost every meaningful statistic last year. Now they're adding Khalil Mack to that defensive front, which was also in the top 10 in sacks last year. I think this defense could come out and, the Packers don't have a great offensive line, and I think the Bears defense could come out and pummel them early. I think this is going to be a close, gritty game, and at the very least, I think the Bears cover that 7.5 point spread.
With the Bears getting Khalil Mack, I'm so happy this is on Sunday night.
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome game.
But the one thing the Packers do have over the Bears is a $100 million quarterback named Aaron Rodgers, and come on, Aaron Rodgers. He'll get this done.
Well, yeah, but you can say that every week, and he's not going to go 16-0. He's going to lose some games, and this is one I could see them losing. I could see the Bears coming out this has to be the most fired-up team in football right now after getting Khalil Mack. They've got to be coming out playing with just that, almost like the Eagles played with in the playoffs last year. I think they're going to have that kind of just raw energy coming onto the field. I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers come out and Aaron Rodgers throws for 5 touchdowns in his first game back since the injury.
Yeah, if Aaron Rodgers, you wouldn't be shocked. So it's just like Devonta Adams, Jimmy Graham in that middle. The Bears defense is going to be amazing this year and could actually be an historic defense the way they're built. I don't know, Packers with Aaron Rodgers, a healthy Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Graham, Devonta Adams. It's going to be a rough team to beat, and I think, again, it's going to be a close game. They squeaked this one out, though.
Yeah, if the money line wasn't so heavy for the Bears, I probably wouldn't touch this, but with them being such underdogs, I like this a lot because there's no reason the Bears can't win this game. It's not like it's a long shot for them to win. It's just they could lose just as well as they could win in this game.
Yeah, if that offense comes out and shows anything like they did in the preseason, they could be a solid offense this year.
I'm taking the under on the 47.5 point total just simply because I don't think many points are going to get scored. I think the Packers will have a better defense than expected, and the Bears have a good defense.
It's also week one. Offenses tend to look sloppy in week one.
Yeah, and this is a terrible opening Monday Night Football game. New York Jets at Detroit Lions. I have the Lions winning the 17-15. We have rookie Sam Darnold heading in, making his first start on a Monday Night Football game away on the road.
In Detroit, too. It's not a quiet, that's a loud stadium.
Yeah, this is going to be rough. I could see Darnold coming out, starting off slow, And for me, the Lions' defense has been solid. Last year, they're better than solid. You've got Matt Stafford and the trio of Marvin Jones, Golden Tate, and Kenny Golladay. So I'm not going to be surprised if they can put up some points and move the ball better than the Jets could. I just got to go with the Jets on here because on a Monday night spotlight, first Monday night of the year, I think Matt Stafford's going to show up more than Sam Darnold. Yeah.
Matt Stafford, and again, even if the Jets are winning this game, they're not going to be winning by much. And hey, Matthew Stafford feels that cold breeze in the fourth quarter being down, and I think Detroit's winning. This is one of those games that Detroit's up probably 10 points. New York probably scores to keep it a little bit closer, but Detroit's going to look good in this game.
Now, the Jets are plus 240 underdogs, and the Lions are minus 300 favorites. I would have expected that underdog line to be a little bit lower.
Really? I thought it would be bigger.
I would think people think that game would be closer than it is, but I don't know. I like the Lions in this. Right now, the spread is 7 either way. I won't take the Lions winning this game by a full touchdown because I don't think it will end up that way. I could see it being a field goal game. But I don't know if I'll touch the over-under or the point spread at all on this one.
This game, too, these two teams, it's hard to tell what these two teams are going to do this year. So them playing week one, it's a rough one to try to guess which team's better than the other, really. This is two teams that could go 4-12, 6-10, 8-8, 9-7. Like, you don't know where these teams are going to fall.
And with Matt Patricia as the new head coach, I worry about that, but he could also come out and play well.
Exactly.
The point total set at 45 in this game, and I'm taking the under.
Same.
The last game of the week, Los Angeles Rams at Oakland Raiders. This game had some appeal before the Khalil Mack trade because it's going to be a loud stadium. The Raiders the last 2 years, I guess, in Oakland. But right now, the Raiders locker room's defeated. The fans are pissed off at Oakland, and the city of Oakland is raising a lawsuit against the Raiders for damages caused to the city by the stadium being abandoned after this when they moved to Vegas, and it's going to be pushing them out maybe a year earlier. We'll have to see what comes out of that. But, it's not like this isn't going to be the same Raiders stadium that people are used to walking into.
No.
I don't think they have the backing of the fans like they used to. This Khalil Mack trade really turned everyone upside down.
And Todd Gurley's going to get that ball on target right where Khalil Mack should have been.
Or Mario Edwards, but
exactly.
He's gone too.
So he's just going to be targeting literally all the holes in their defense, which is pretty much their whole defense. Todd Gurley's going to run all over these guys.
This could be one of the worst defenses in football. And the Rams had the highest scoring offense in football last year. Sean McVay's brilliant, and he will know exactly how to attack this defense. I have them winning this game 35-10. The Rams have a solid defense on top of this if Wade Phillips keeps them all working together. The Raiders have offensive talent.
Not enough.
But they're going to get steamrolled early and be playing from behind, and that's the best time to play defense is when you're playing with house money and you're able to just defend the pass.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. This is Rams all day. If the Raiders win 2 games this year, that makes sense.
The spread for this is the Rams at minus 220 and the Raiders at a plus 180 home dog. I think the Rams maul them. I think they crush the 4.5 point spread, and I think the point total will fall short of the 49.5.
Because of the Raiders, not because of the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams
did their side.
Enough. So those are all the games. Now, I have my personal best bets that I marked up when I wrote this article. Do you want me to run through those, or do you disagree with any of them?
Well,
I disagree with Cincinnati.
I think you should just go with your teaser. Is that what this is?
We'll just get down to the teaser.
Yeah,
if you want the other best bets, read the article. It'll be up shortly. If you're listening right now, then fuck yeah, keep doing that. We'll get it up soon. Happy you tuned in early. For those of you who don't know, a 6-team teaser is you take 6 teams against the spread and you add 6 points in favor of the team that you chose. So if you took a team, say you took the Saints at minus 10, it would lower them to minus 4. If you took the Falcons at plus 3, it would raise them to plus 9. For me, what I ended up with at plus 550 odds are all 6 of these teams have to win for it to pay off. It's the Falcons getting 8.5 over Philadelphia, the Bengals getting 9 over Indy, the Steelers getting 2.5 over Cleveland, Minnesota giving up 0.5 point to San Francisco, so they just need to win that game, New Orleans giving up 4 to Tampa Bay, and the Dolphins getting 8 over Tennessee.
And one thing to know about a parlay is all 6 games have to be correct to win the money.
And I'm a big fan of this teaser. I think the one I'm most nervous about, believe it or not, would be Pittsburgh losing to Cleveland.
Yeah,
I could see Pittsburgh somehow losing by a field goal, and that would be devastating if that's the only one I got wrong.
Because Miami could lose, but Miami has has 8 points to play with there. Atlanta's getting 8.5. I think they win. So Cincy with +9, yeah, Indy's not going to score more than 9 on them. Pittsburgh, let's go. You got to win this one.
Best case scenario, Cleveland wins that game by 2, so I still won the bet, and Cleveland gets the win. Minnesota is the better football team. I think they will beat the 49ers outright, and I like that it neutralizes that almost touchdown spread. And
New Orleans is just going to drop bombs on Tampa Bay.
And I wasn't comfortable with -10 and still took it at -4. I absolutely love that. Do you have any fantasy things you want to get in here?
No, not really. It's week 1. It's hard to predict fantasy. Next week we'll have a better, still not a great look on how players are going to play, but it's a better look on how players are going to play.
And like I said, there's a lot of running back problems going on right now. If you're in a heavy league with 10 to 12 people and you're looking for some deep guys, take a chance on a guy like James Conner who's going to touch the ball a lot. Duke Johnson's usually on the board. Boston Scott, Mike Gillislee. I don't mind that kind of setup. Matt Breida's not a bad guy to pick up either because him and Alfred Morris are going to get the ball a lot. There's a lot of running backs that will touch the ball this week. They're not going to give you running back 1 production, but when your hands are tied because Jerick McKinnon gets hurt and Le'Veon Bell's being a dick, then you got to do what you got to do.
And, if anybody has any questions about week 1 fantasy, week 1 picks, or even later in the week about week 2, feel free to DM Timothy or me on I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Nick Kappas.
Yep, you can find me at Timothy J. Chura on Twitter, Tim_Chura on Instagram, and both of our emails are on the site. Do reach out anyway. We'd love to help.
Sports Dorks, media, anything.
And again, this is going to be every Wednesday night from now on. We're going to sit down, break it all down so you guys have your picks Thursday morning and hopefully take some of the advice and hopefully we can win you guys some money. We will be back with another podcast Friday, back to the normal Bumpin Shoulders, but as far as 3rd and a mile goes, see you guys Wednesday.